Okay, so I've been getting a lot of comments recently asking me about my setup. So I use a controller and a mouse, which is quite unusual. But I'm just going to do a quick video trying to explain how I achieve this and what my button layout is. So here you can see I've got my button layout on the screen. So sprint, click the left stick, toggle crouch on the left button. The reason that, so then I don't have to hold the crouch button down. I have two options for crouch. So I can crouch with this, or I can crouch with the right click. And this gives me two options. I think it's good in this configuration to have redundancy, and I'll talk more about that later. Switch grenade down, AI scan right, mark up. So these are things I'm not going to use too much, which is why I put them on the D-pad. So for jump, got jump on the back left trigger. Switch weapon on the left bumper, and then for aiming down sights I hold down one of the paddles. So for this setup I use a Power A Fusion Pro 2 wired controller. The good thing about this, it has these paddles on the back, so I use both paddles. One I use for marking and one I use for aiming down sights. So that's what I use for my controller. It's quite heavy as well. So as you can see, I have my controller on a cushion on my lap to hold it in place, and the weight keeps it in place quite nicely. Okay, so moving on to the mouse. I shoot with the left click as normal. I already talked about crouching and sliding with the right stick. And then I've got a button above my scroll wheel, which is grenade. And then mark, what I can do is I hold my middle finger across. So if you look in the top right screen, if I just push down, like with this part of my finger here, I can push down on that to mark. I also have reload on the side button and melee. So those two buttons, I don't have to move my fingers off the trigger, so I can get easily to reload and melee. If I push the stick in, that's interact, so pick up weapons, press buttons. And again, with this redundancy, I can either hold this left paddle down to aim down sights, but say I'm sniping, I don't want to keep it held down, or if I want to go into the second zoom mode, I can just toggle that with pushing the scroll wheel forwards. So it kind of feels intuitive, like I want to zoom in. So when you zoom in on a mouse, usually you scroll forwards with the scroll wheel, then using equipment backwards on the scroll wheel. I played around with a lot of things, like before I used to have melee as this, pushing forward on the scroll wheel, but I found that I was meleeing by accident, so I think it's better to have that on a button. So yeah, let's just see how that plays out in a game. So I've got just a training session set up, and so the main reason I wanted to do this setup in the first place is because I was always an Xbox gamer, and then when I got to PC, I just found WASD really difficult, and I wanted more analog on my movement side, and then I wanted to be able to have the precision aiming of using a mouse. So I feel like this kind of, once you get used to where all the buttons are and stuff, this is actually a really good way of combining the best of both worlds.
We've lost a team.
So yeah, I can move around pretty easily. Equipment's really easy to use. Switching weapon. Grenades. Everything's so easy to get to.
Good shooting, Spartan.
And crouching on the left stick, super useful. So you can get nice curb slides across that bit.
Not today, friend.
And with the mouse, you can obviously do stuff like spin around like this very, very quickly. I have my mouse sensitivity quite high as well, so that I can like get ninjas. Let's see if we can try and get a ninja. Let's try and get a ninja. Okay, I can't get a ninja. But you get the point. I can easily spin around. It's very good. Like someone shoot me, I can quickly turn, and I've got really good strafing movement as well. But yeah, once you get used to the buttons, it's all very, very fluid.
They're close.
Oh,
Another one.
I didn't mention actually. So for the mouse, I use a MX15 from Logitech, pretty popular gaming mouse. And with this software, you can remap stuff. So these buttons normally are normally mapped to like your sensitivity of your mouse, but you can remap them. So I'm remapping them to keys on my keyboard, which I can then then map to stuff in Halo. So this is also what gives you the ability to have a toggled version and a hold down version for some of your controller options. So if you have toggle on the controller, you can have hold down on the mouse or vice versa. So really useful. I really like this setup, and I hope I've inspired some people to try it out. So yeah.